It's the backbone of world economies. Construction is a multi-trillion rand global empire. South Africa's construction sector contributed more than 170 billion rand to GDP last year. But the industry has taken heat in recent months. Late last year, a partially constructed mall in Tongaat, KwaZulu-Natal collapsed, killing 2 people. And in August this year, the first floor of an extension to a luxury mansion in Meyersdal, south of Johannesburg, caved in. 7 people were crushed under the concrete slab.
The Labour Department is investigating both accidents, but they're not isolated incidents. Official data on South Africa's construction disasters is not easily available.
But after some digging, we found 17 reported building collapses dating back to 2004. Most of them in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. 3 structures collapsed in October 2011 and 7 in 2004. A team of professionals is usually appointed to handle the architectural design and construction. But this isn't always the case.
Some clients, particularly private sector clients, are not prepared to compensate an engineer who may be involved in designing their structure to ensure that there's adequate construction supervision. So they sometimes hand over that responsibility for the supervision of the construction to a project manager, for instance. That has the potential to create problems.
As in any industry, construction role players have professional indemnity. Master Builders SA keeps a close eye on its 4,000-odd members, while the National Home Builders Registration Council regulates the residential sector, and the Construction Industry Development Board oversees government projects. Even so, there are still loopholes. The Engineering Council admits that while some companies implement a peer review, smaller businesses tend not to. The problem is compounded by the use of cheap and inferior building materials, poor workmanship, and the incorrect interpretation of architectural designs.
Building inspectors, they need to be on the ground all the time. They need to make sure that the plans are passed before you even start breaking ground. They need to make sure that the bylaws are not broken.
So the question is, do we lack proper monitoring mechanisms?
We put a lot of rules in place and regulations, but it's not policed. So therefore, you still have the same scenario happening.
The capacity of the Department of Labour, the amount of inspectors that they have, their ability to adequately sample and visit sites to make sure that there's compliance. There's a whole range of capacity issues there.
Municipal building inspectors and the Labour Department carry out on-site inspections. But as the Tongaat Mall disaster revealed, sometimes construction continues despite prohibition notices. Something we pointed out to the Labour Department.
The key thing for us is that we provide the support as far as possible so that industry is able to perform the work that is required of them as far as it is possible for them. We do welcome the members of the public, the employees that work on construction companies and the trade unions. We would welcome them contacting us in the event of any unsafe or unhealthy situations.
Perhaps the problem lies elsewhere. Roxy Ross has run a construction company in Durban for 7 years. Her biggest challenge? Moving up the experience ladder.
I think it's who you link to, as well as the procurement policies again. Example, they'll tell you to tender for a job which is a grading 3 SO. I could be a 2 SO, but I have the capabilities of doing it. So already they've stopped me from tendering for that process.
We need to train and train and train and train again. The average age of a foreman, which is the backbone of any project, is 45 years of age. And so it just tells you that our workforce is getting older and we're not replenishing these people on site. And if we're not bringing young blood into the industry, it's going to collapse.
A recent survey conducted by Master Builders shows that 60% of training occurs in the informal sector.
You probably need a bakkie and a couple of labourers and spades and that's you're a builder.
Experts claim that skills in the local construction industry are on par with those overseas. However, the question remains, are we seeing evidence of this expertise on the ground? Judith Subban, Durban.